Good day, everyone. Welcome to Oral Communication subject. For our seventh lesson, we will be discussing the continuation of the different parts of communicative strategy. For this lesson, we will be discussing speech acts. Today, we will be talking about the different types of speech acts as well as indirect speech acts and what we refer to as performatives. Then, eventually, we will cover or discuss the different classifications of speech acts. More often than not, we use our words to make statements with them. We can also make requests, ask questions, give orders, make promises, give thanks, or offer apologies, and so on. Before we begin, consider the phrase I now declare martial law. Who among the following can say this praise and make martial law actually happen? Is it your pregnant neighbor? Is it your favorite rock star? Is it the president of the country? Or is it a TV personality? Who do you think can actually say or declare martial law? So, a speech act is described as an utterance that a speaker makes to achieve an intended effect. Basically, it is something that we say that may influence the listeners to do something or perform something. So, more often than not, actions that actually occur because of language, the words that we are saying are considered speech acts. So, if the words that you are saying force another person to do something or force something to happen, then that could be considered a speech act. These are described as verbal actions that accomplish something. Sometimes, speech acts would only contain one word. However, there are also instances where they could be composed of several words or even longer sentences. Let's look at these two utterances. The first is just one word, which is thanks. The second is a complete sentence. Thank you for always being there for me. You would notice these two are completely different in structure and tone, but both perform the same action, which is expressing gratitude. There is a language philosopher who formulated what we now know as speech act theory. He is J.L. Austin. He developed this theory to explain how speech acts occur and how they function. According to speech act theory, there are three parts to speech acts: the locutionary, the illocutionary, and the perlocutionary. The locutionary act occurs when the speaker performs a locution. A locution is the phrase or the sentence that has meaning and structure. Vocabulary and grammar. So, in short, it is the utterance itself that is locutionary, the utterance. The illocutionary act is the performance of saying something with a specific intention. So the elocution is the social function of what is said. This is the reason or the purpose behind the utterance. And the third type, which is the perlocutionary, this is the act which happens when the speaker says has an effect on the listener. So this is the perlocution. This is the resulting action, how the listener responds to what was said. Let me give you an example for deeper explanation and understanding. For example, your mother shouts, "Please do the dishes." Okay, sorry for this. The first yellow part should be locutionary. Hindi ko pala nabago. Again, the first yellow part, yung nasa ilalim niya na box, ay locutionary. The second is illocutionary. And the third is perlocutionary. So, dito muna tayo sa first part, which is locutionary. The words themselves, please do the dishes. This is saying of the word or the sentence. The second part, the second box, elocutionary, this is the intention. The speaker requests the receiver to wash the dishes. So your mother is requesting that you wash the dishes. The third box, which is the perlocutionary, receiver washing the dishes. So you, as the listener, get up and wash the dishes. I hope you can see the difference between these three types, the locutionary, elocutionary, and the perlocutionary. Again, the perlocutionary is the word themselves. Please do the dishes. Just the words or the utterance. The elocutionary, the second box, this is the intention. Your mother is requesting that you wash the dishes. And the third box, which is the perlocutionary, this is you as the listener who gets up and actually wash the dishes or perform the action, perform the request. Okay, next we have indirect speech acts. When a speaker does not explicitly state the intended meaning, we call this indirect speech acts. The sentence structure may be different from the intended meaning, but listeners can still infer the intention. If someone says, "Could you pass the salt?" the locutionary meaning asks about ability. The indirect speech act is actually a polite request. Please pass the salt. So listeners usually pass the salt instead of answering yes or no. Another example for indirect, the person or the boy says, "Let's go to the movies tonight." And the girl said, "I have to study for an exam." So the boy's utterance is an indirect invitation. And the girl's reply is an indirect refusal. She implies she can't go without saying no directly. That is indirect speech act. Now, we have here performatives. Some statements enable the speaker to perform something simply by saying it or stating it. These are called performatives because saying the words is the action. Okay? Our example here is during a wedding, when the priests say, "I now pronounce you husband and wife." And another example is in court, saying, "I now sentence you to 10 years in prison." So in these contexts, the utterance itself completes the action. Okay, let's go back here. Another tip for you. What is important is that performatives usually only work if the speaker is authorized to say them. If someone without authority says them, the words have no formal effect. Okay, just like what I told you or what I asked you in the first slide about who can say I now declare martial law and who can actually make it happen. Is it your pregnant neighbor? No, is it a rock star? Is it the president of the Philippines or is it a TV personality? Who can actually do the action that has been said with the statement? Okay? So for example, another example, if I, your teacher said, "I now pronounce you husband and wife," it would not be legally effective, right? But if the priest, no, or if the mayor, if the judge, no, said it, there is a formal or legal effect. Now let's move forward with John Searle's classified speech acts, classification of speech acts into five kinds: the assertive, directive, commissive, expressive, and declaration. Okay, so these are the five kinds or the classification of speech acts. Let's start with the assertive. Assertives express the speaker's belief about the truth of a proposition. The speaker commits to something being the case. For example, you are making suggestion, you are stating beliefs, or you are posting about yourself, or you are feeling confident, bragging confidently. That is assertive. You are being assertive. Next is directives. Directives are utterances where the speaker tries to make the listener perform an action. Examples: ordering people to do something, giving orders, making requests, offering advice, or even begging something. You are directing someone to perform the action. Next, we have commissives. Commissives commit the speaker to do something in the future. This should be the highlighted word or the clue word you need to remember when we are talking about commissive, the future term. Okay? For example, when you are promising, okay, magre-review na ako bukas bago ang exam next week. Pero nakailang bukas na hindi pa rin siya nag-review, dumating ang exam, hindi nakapasa. Okay? You commit in doing something in the future. You promise someone. You promise to yourself. Another example is planning with your colleagues. Others like vows, no, bets. And then next we have expressive or expressives. Expressives convey the speaker's feelings or attitudes. For example, someone is apologizing to you, saying, I'm sorry. The next example is when you are thanking someone, you are saying thank you, or you are congratulating someone. Next, we have declarations. Declarations change the state of the world immediately when uttered by an authorized person. For example, when a priest baptizes a baby. Okay, a priest baptizing a baby. Another example is when you are bidding for something, or a judge sentence somebody, or an employer saying you are fired. Those are declaration, which mean there should be a change of state in an immediate way. Okay? Merong pagbabago in just a snap, in just a tap, in just the words said to you. Okay? That is declaration. Using and understanding speech acts develop our communicative competence, our ability to communicate effectively and appropriately. So that's it for our lesson 7 in oral communication. Thank you for joining our class. Take care and goodbye.